It was a sound that made absolutely no sense. In the sticky, humid summer of 1942, the residents of a quiet, unassuming street in Pascagoula, Mississippi, started hearing it. A gentle scratch. A faint tap. It wasn't at the front door, it wasn't at the back. It was at the window screen, in the dead of night. This is the strange, true story of the Phantom Barber of Pascagoula. Before we step onto that dark, moonlit street, let's set the scene. It's 1942. World War II is raging overseas. For the folks in Pascagoula, a small shipbuilding town on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, the war felt distant. Their biggest worry was the humidity and the daily grind. But on the night of June 18th, fear found a local address. It found its way to the home of a sleeping family. And it crawled in through a window screen. Our first stop is the home of Mr. and Mrs. C.J. Business. It's just after midnight. The house is dark. Everyone is asleep. Suddenly, Mrs. Business wakes up. She's not sure why. Maybe it was a sound. Maybe it was just a feeling. But as her eyes adjust to the dark, she sees a figure. A man. Standing in her bedroom doorway, just watching her. Before she can scream, he vanishes into the night. Panicked, she wakes her husband. They search the house. Nothing is stolen. Nothing is moved. But when they check the windows, they find it. A screen has been expertly sliced open. A silent invitation for someone to enter. The police are called. They're baffled. It's a creepy incident, sure, but with no theft and no violence, what can they do? They chalk it up to a peeping Tom and tell the family to be more careful. But the Phantom was just warming up. He was just testing the locks. But here's the thing about the Phantom Barber. He wasn't a thief. He wasn't a killer. He was a collector. And he wasn't looking for jewelry or cash. He was looking for hair. Just a few nights later, the fear escalated. This time, the target was a young woman living alone. Her name was Mary. In the sweltering heat, she had left her bedroom window slightly open, relying only on the screen to keep the bugs out. In the middle of the night, a strange sensation pulled her from a deep sleep. A feeling of pressure on her head. A faint, snipping sound. Her eyes flew open. A dark silhouette was bent over her bed, its hands near her hair. She let out a blood-curdling scream that ripped through the quiet night. The figure bolted. Mary's family came running. They found her terrified, shaken, but physically unharmed. At first, they thought it was a nightmare. Until they looked at her pillow. Scattered around it were small locks of her hair. Someone had been in her room, and they had cut her hair while she slept. The town was stunned. This wasn't a peeping Tom anymore. This was an invasion. This was intimate. This was wrong. The police were now fully involved. They combed the area under the window. And there, in the soft dirt, they found footprints. Bare footprints. And a distinct trail leading away from the house and into the shadows. Panic began to grip Pascagoula. The idea that someone could slip into your most private space, your bedroom, and touch you while you were completely vulnerable, was a primal fear. People started checking their window locks. Husbands started sleeping with baseball bats by the bed. And everyone started whispering about the mysterious intruder. The local newspaper, the Pascagoula Chronicle, had a field day. They needed a name for this creep. Something that captured the bizarre, surgical nature of the crime. They landed on a moniker that stuck like gum to a hot sidewalk, the Phantom Barber. The name was perfect. It was creepy. It was mysterious. And it implied a purpose, a ritual, that was far more frightening than simple burglary. The Phantom didn't stop. He was feeding on the fear. The next attack was just as bold, just as terrifying. Another woman, another ground floor bedroom, another sliced screen. This time, the victim felt a hand gently stroking her hair. She woke up slowly, confused, thinking it might be her husband. But her husband was a heavy sleeper, on the other side of the bed. As she turned, the hand quickly withdrew. A shadow slipped away. When she looked at her nightstand, she saw it, a small pair of scissors, left behind. They weren't hers. The phantom had brought his own tools. The police were now under immense pressure. The town was in a state of near hysteria. Curfews were unofficially put in place. People formed neighborhood watch groups. The streets, usually filled with kids playing late into the evening, were deserted by sundown. And then, the Phantom Barber escalated again. He moved from cutting hair to full-blown abduction. The most chilling story involves a young mother and her baby. She put her infant to bed in a downstairs room and went to sleep in her own room nearby. In the early morning hours, she woke with a start. A feeling of dread washed over her. She rushed to the baby's room. The crib was empty. Her baby was gone. The search of the house was frantic. And then, they found her. The baby, thankfully unharmed, was asleep in a strange bed in a completely different part of the house. Think about that for a second. A stranger, in the pitch dark, lifting a sleeping infant. Walking through a house full of people who could have woken up at any moment. And then just putting her down somewhere else. Not hurting her. Not taking her. Just moving her. Why? What kind of mind does that? It made no sense. It was the act of a madman. The town was at its breaking point. People were terrified to sleep. They were terrified for their children. The police were staking out neighborhoods, hiding in bushes, watching for a barefoot man with scissors. But the phantom was a ghost. He seemed to come and go as he pleased, leaving only sliced screens, scattered hair, and raw fear in his wake. Then came the night of June 28, 1942. A man named W.M. Scott was staying at a local boarding house. He was a traveling salesman, just passing through. He went to bed, unaware of the terror gripping the town. In the middle of the night, he felt a presence. He opened his eyes to see a man leaning over him. Before he could react, the intruder fled. Scott jumped up and gave chase. He ran outside into the dark street and saw a figure disappearing into the night. He wasn't able to catch him, but this was the closest anyone had gotten. Scott gave a description to the police. A white male, average height, wearing dark clothing. It wasn't much, but it was something. The chase was on. The police, now desperate for a break, intensified their patrols. They staked out houses, hid in bushes, and waited. And finally, their patience paid off. On the night of July 2nd, a police officer saw a shadow moving near a house on a quiet street. He moved in quietly and confronted the man. The man was barefoot. He was carrying a small flashlight. And in his pocket, he had a pair of scissors. The suspect's name was William Dolan. He was a local man, known to be a bit of an odd character. He was a shipyard worker, and he lived in the neighborhood. When the police searched his home, they found something truly disturbing. A collection. Tucked away in his dresser drawer was a small box. And inside that box were locks of hair. Human hair. The police had their Phantom Barber. The town erupted in relief. The nightmare was over. Dolan was arrested and charged with peeping Tom and burglary charges. But here is where the story takes its strangest turn. The evidence against Dolan was entirely circumstantial. Yes, he had scissors. Yes, he was barefoot. Yes, he was lurking near a house at night. And yes, he had a strange collection of hair. But could anyone identify him as the man in the bedrooms? No. Could they prove the hair in his box belonged to the victims? In 1942, DNA testing didn't exist. The hair samples couldn't be conclusively linked. The case against William Dolan began to fall apart. The victims were too terrified and the nights were too dark for them to make a positive identification. The hair in his possession could have been from anywhere. The charges were eventually dropped. William Dolan walked free. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture that boarding house room in 1942. The oppressive summer heat. The open window with its sliced screen. The faint, metallic sound of scissors being opened somewhere in the darkness. The phantom is still out there. Or is he? You will never know for sure. And neither will they. So, was William Dolan the Phantom Barber? Or was he just a strange man with a weird hobby who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time? The town was divided. Many were convinced he was the culprit. Others weren't so sure. The mysterious break-in stopped after Dolan's arrest, which is the strongest evidence against him. But without a conviction, the case remains officially unsolved. This is the point in every mystery video where we ask you to become the detective. What do you think? Was William Dolan the Phantom Barber, or did the real Phantom simply get scared and stop after the close call? Was there a copycat? Or was Dolan just a scapegoat for a panicked town? This is where you come in. I want to hear your theories in the comments below. Do you think he was guilty, or did the real Phantom get away with the perfect crime? Let's get a discussion going. If you enjoyed diving into this strange slice of American folklore, and you want to help us uncover more forgotten mysteries and bizarre true crime stories, then you need to hit that like button. Liking the video tells the algorithm that you want more content like this, and it helps other curious minds find their way to these stories. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap that bell icon. That way, you won't miss our next deep dive into the unexplained. We have so many more stories to tell, from haunted history to unsolved crimes, and we want you along for the ride. The Phantom Barber of Pascagoula faded back into the humid southern night, leaving behind a legacy of fear and a mystery that lingers to this day. The houses on those quiet streets still stand, their windows now securely locked. But if you ever find yourself in Pascagoula on a warm, still night, and you hear a faint scratch at your screen, just remember the summer of 1942. And maybe, check your locks twice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious. Stay weird.